Hey everyone, welcome to Free Speech Forum Podcast episode 7. This is going to be a fantastic episode, and we have got an American Flag patriotic discussion as well as some art to show you and a little discussion on that from Nastia over here. So we're glad to have you guys here, and let's get started.
It's going to be good. There's jam-packed with action, danger, adventure. John, what do you think?
I'm pretty excited. I see you already got your flag in your water bottle.
Yes, and, I am drinking the American flag today. That's how serious I am about this thing.
Oh, you guys, I got the nails.
Oh,
got
see?
the American
Look
flag
at that.
nails.
You
so.
came prepared.
Oh,
you
my.
came prepared.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
There we go. There we go. So what's in that water bottle besides the American flag?
Well, it's just good old Deer Park water.
I'm not sure I can believe that knowing you.
Well, I tell you what. Would you like a taste? Would you like a taste? It might knock you out.
Have you tasted it first?
It's damn good.
Well, I will pass. I'm going to pass today.
Let's just say it's 100 proof water. How does that go?
That's fantastic.
All right, cool.
All right, let's hear the intro.
Yeah.
We are back. And so today we have Bob, Creative, and we have John, Crute Lord here. Obviously, some fan favorites. Oh, look at that dab.
And don't forget our very special guest, Nastia, the artist.
Hi.
Hello,
Hey, how are you
Nastia.
doing?
What are you going to really do for us today? You're going to talk about the differences between styles, or
Just in general about art, and yes, so I've brought in some of the artworks that I wanted to show. Yeah, that
Cool.
are that belong to different styles and techniques of art, particular mediums. So, yeah.
wonderful.
Fantastic.
All right, that sounds good.
Sweet. Yeah, so you're going to talk about some of the different artworks you've done, the different, the history behind your art, where you started, how you got to where you are today, and stuff like that.
Pretty much.
Fantastic.
So did you guys have a good 4th of July weekend?
Oh.
What'd you do, Bob?
Well, I joined my two brothers, Tim and Jeff, on some property that's just over the mountain in the county, and we literally blew up as much stuff as we could for 3 hours. I mean, it was awesome.
So you blew up more than fireworks.
We have people that they park along the road.
You blew up people that were parked along the road. Bob, I don't need to know what you did on your 4th of July weekend anymore, but I'm glad you had a fantastic
it was
weekend.
awesome. Did the hamburgers, the hot dogs. It was just total Americana.
That's
it was beautiful.
fantastic. Burgers?
Burgers, dogs, chips, you name it.
So did you put ketchup on those burgers?
We did, and tomatoes, pickles,
no,
onions.
No, sir. I will stay away from ketchup.
Me too.
I'm
I
not-
prefer mayo.
I can relate.
I will
So
stay away from both of those.
Did you do anything special for the 4th, Nastia?
Yes, me and Jerry actually went to see his family in Tennessee, so
Yeah.
Did you have your fingernails painted? You were prepared for that?
for sure.
Okay, cool.
She was prepared for that.
Could I ask, were you involved in pyrotechnics?
We were just watching them, so we were on the other side
Okay.
Yeah. It was
of the show.
It was a
Okay.
fantastic show. We went to a tiny town called Bell Buckle. It's kind of between Shelbyville and
Did they have
Murfreesboro.
tiny houses?
I mean, whatever you set your heart to was there. Except, we went early to go. We went early to go around some shops, right? And apparently, in this tiny town, they didn't want to make money on all of the people that were coming to visit their town. I mean, there were hundreds of people. What were there? Probably 500, 600 people there that weren't from that town, and every single shop was closed. Apparently, they didn't want to make money on the 4th of July. So
They're lost.
Yeah,
Bob's blown away.
exactly.
That's,
We got there-
that's un-American.
Yeah.
I know. It's what I'm
You
saying.
can't do that.
So we got there an hour and a half or so early, and we just sat under the blistering sun, got some sunburns. It was fantastic. It was
What a
fantastic.
great force.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome.
So I don't know. Do we got anybody on the YouTube chat? 6 people.
We
Hey,
do.
people on the YouTube chat, what's up?
How you
Glad
guys
you're
doing?
watching. Here, There's a dab for you. An awkward autism-infused dab. Jimmy Magoo, glad you're here, Jimmy. Yeah, glad you're here, and
Fantastic.
Hopefully some more people catch up down the line.
For sure.
Well, John, what did you do for the 4th? Did you light anything? Did you use flammable materials?
You know, I actually there's this family that I can't stand being around, and I got stuck spending the afternoon with them.
Oh,
So you blew up fireworks.
But at least the kids get. No, it's actually like B. Lotta's family.
Okay, so
Actually, yeah. Brooks's beautiful wife Lauren and Lakin and Brooklyn are back here on the couch watching, so I had to throw some shade at them.
I was actually invited to that event an hour early, and I was 3 hours away. You know, if you had given me some time to plan for this instead of more than 1 hour, I might have been able to make it. But I guess you didn't want me that badly.
That was the plan, Jerry.
Well, what the plan was, he invited someone else probably, and they didn't show up, and so now we had extra slots open for me to show up. That's probably what happened. So,
but he said he wanted to bring this girl. We're like, nah. No, we'll hang out with ourselves.
Well, so you guys are hanging out with her now, so it all came full circle anyway. So, well, I guess John has a special meme he wants to show everyone.
Yeah, I've been waiting all day to talk about this meme. It really means a lot to me, and it's kind of changed my perspective on reality and everything in general. You see, it says, Payday Candy Bar is changing its name because it's offensive to those who don't work.
So what are we changing its name?
It's a real thinker, It's a real thinker.
I totally get that.
I think it's going to be it's going to be called the stimulus check bar from going forward.
I didn't get one of those either.
Corn instead of peanuts.
Well, you're going to get a lot of those ones, John, because you don't work. So
right, yeah.
I mean, you're going to get a lot of those.
Ask my kids. My kids went to Bring Your Kids to Work Day. It wasn't. I just made one up and took them to work with me.
I was there,
and they were like, "Dad, you don't do anything. You just talk to people all day." So.
Your dad, you're unemployed, aren't you, John? Go ahead and admit it.
No, I mean, I go to work, but I just don't do anything there.
Oh, I see.
Seems to be people. Yeah, I mean.
Okay,
they just don't understand.
You work for the federal government,
I
don't
go
you?
and I participate on a spiritual level, and I hold the universe together.
You can't put a price tag on that kind of contribution.
Yeah, so we got this is good. What do you think about that, Bob?
Look at that. Good old Joe. Merry Christmas on July the 4th. I would have given anything to have him at our fireworks show.
Yeah.
We would have strapped him up to one of the poles and taken target practice at him with bottle rockets.
Bob.
Just kidding, Joe.
That's my president you're talking about there, Bob.
Oh, he's the president?
I guess. I mean,
gee. Well, excuse me, Mr. Biden.
He's your president too.
He's not my president.
He is definitely your president.
Don't rub it in.
No. Well, all right. So
let's do a segment transition.
Do you even know what you're doing?
I did that as a joke. That was bicycle horn. I don't know which one I'm supposed to click.
So you don't know what you're doing over there?
That wasn't it. Glock and...
No, these are all wrong. We need to train our IT guy.
I'm going to use the Roadcaster to do it. And it says...
Fancy.
So laughter. Applause.
Okay, so...
That's good.
I'm pretty sure you're
Intro,
supposed to click
outro.
music option number 1.
I like that. I feel popular.
You're definitely not. I'm sorry. I don't want to break the news to you.
Bring the laughter up again. Uh-oh.
This is embarrassing.
Here?
Technical difficulties.
We'll go at this one. Oh, gosh, everybody. This
in
is...
a world far
You
away.
can't see him because the...
We don't know
It's
how
not
to
a
use the
real
IT
wrestling
equipment. Oh, I was about to do something
Wait.
That
else
was
right
pretty
there.
good. Like,
That was
we had
good
the commercial.
music.
Did I turn it off?
Yeah, I was saying
were playing
something deep
commercial.
and then you turned it off.
That's happy.
Oh, this is getting ready
What a
for the-
transition.
This
That-
is
art
getting into
segment.
the this is getting into
That
the
reminds me of Leave It to
art
Beaver,
segment.
Dennis the Menace,
You guys
Those-
didn't see that.
Father
You guys
Knows
didn't see that.
Best.
That
Yeah.
was a
I don't know those
perfect.
people.
That was a perfect segment transition there.
Well, so I guess I don't really know what this is, but it's nice. It's leading us into our special guests segment about art. So I guess what are you? How did you start getting into some art?
Start art.
Actually-
that
How did
line.
you start art?
Actually, let me start from here. I actually wanted to ask you guys, what do you know about art?
Ooh, that's a
Well,
thinker.
so I
I've used
actually.
I've used that phrase twice.
Well, you don't count because you already been to a gallery
Oh,
and like
I don't
I've told you a
count.
little bit. I was talking to
I
other people.
don't count.
Bob, I'll let you go first.
Well, I actually got a graphic design degree.
Really?
Yes, because I wanted to work in advertising. But it didn't take long for me to realize that the guys that were doing graphic art were being told what to do by a bunch of jackasses. So I became a jackass, account executive, then creative director, and eventually owned my own agency. So I've worked with a lot of very talented illustrators. But I will say one thing. In a way, when the computer came in and people could create digital art, sometimes you just didn't know if they really had a true feel for what art was because they could throw, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Photoshop and Illustrator just punched a hole in
Yep.
the universe. So why don't you tell me, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm not into digital art. I prefer traditional art, meaning like painting, drawing.
Yes.
I like to work with my bare hands pretty much. Like I don't
Yes.
like technology in the first place and like doing art. I mean, I probably could learn it, but I never had passion to, because like to me it seems a little lifeless, if I can say that. Like, because when you're like, for example, when you're painting an oil painting, there's so much that goes into it. Like, you're putting your soul into it, and you can see every brushstroke. I mean, depending on which technique you're using, but yeah, it feels more special, I feel like, because like that's gonna be only one of a kind like that. Even if
Right.
you're gonna try to make a copy of like, or paint it over,
Right.
it's not gonna be the same.
Right.
But with the digital design, like graphic design, like you can make hundreds of copies and they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
look exactly the same.
Sure.
So
See, that's real interesting because I've always liked doing creative things, but I was never really good at like traditional art, you know. And I really understand what you're saying about like the whole technology space, like feeling dead versus like the real, you know, practical art. Yeah, somebody's about to rage over there, named Pixel Joe, but there's a special song playing. So my thought was, when it comes to art, I really like traditional art. You know, you have like the modern art with like sharp edges and everything looks, you know, they'll
Well,
like
that's my
put
favorite.
they'll like put a toilet seat on a pedestal and call it
Yeah.
like art, you know. I don't really like that. It actually like bothers me a lot.
Did you like Andy Warhol with all the soup
You know, that was
cans and-
neat, but I feel like that was kind of the tradition and the translation. What's the word?
Transition.
Thank
Yes,
you, Bob.
yes. That's
The
all right.
transition into kind of the more modern stuff. So he had some cool stuff, but then it kind of transitioned in.
How about the really classical Renaissance?
Oh,
Raphael,
that's what I love.
Michelangelo,
I mean, like
Da
the
Vinci.
really deep attention to details, you know, like ornamented columns and, you know,
Yes.
stuff like that. And, but, however, I will say that, like, I work in technology and I develop technology, you know, like I'll build, they're called DRFMs, digital RF memory, and they'll like take a signal and they'll sample it and do things to it and put it out. But like when I'm working on technology, like I look at it as like an art project because that's how I can express myself.
I get
you know,
that.
like that's the only way. And even the free speech forum, like this whole enterprise, the forum, I can't wait for you guys to see the new website. But like, I'm not the guy that goes and builds the website, but I like putting together the vision. You know, I look at it as like an art project.
It is. I agree with that.
And so it's more of like I'm kind of like an architect, like a technology architect, and that's my medium of art. But
Nastia, could I ask you, do you have a single artist that you regard as being the best ever?
The best ever. I don't have a favorite, but I definitely love Dolly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the timepieces melting over.
Yeah, but I actually did a painting based off of his painting. I'm pretty sure Jerry posted it at some point on the forum. The butterfly ship.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I posted that one.
So that one was actually based on Dolly's painting, and when I was drawing the grid to transfer it to my canvas, I warped the grid.
Cool.
So and then put the picture into that grid. So it turned out distorted. So
Was that intentional?
You made it
Okay.
your own. I like that.
Yes,
That's
pretty
cool.
much, yeah.
Why don't you tell people what the grid is? I bet a lot of people don't know.
Well, grid. How do I explain this?
It's like the Matrix.
You could.
Okay, my English is second language.
You're doing really good. You're doing good. Yeah. You have very good English.
So imagine you're making it tick marks, like for example at 1 inch, and like you just cross the lines. So
Oh, like a grid.
yeah, like a grid, exactly.
So what you're saying is you make a grid.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. I'm great.
Yes, there we go.
Cool.
And then you make a grid on the original piece.
Yes, and then you make the grid on the original piece. But again, when I was doing that painting, I distorted my grid that I was putting
Right.
the
That's like
transfer
Yeah.
picture
fourth
into.
dimensional. Like
Yes.
fourth dimension.
Sorta.
Cool.
Sort of fourth
Yeah.
dimension.
How about sculpture?
Sculpture, I do. I did some sculpture. I'm in college right now, so I took a couple of ceramics classes. So I haven't worked with the sculpture as it is, like out of other materials other than clay. Mm-hmm. So, but I had a ceramics hand building class just this past spring, and yeah, we made a fictional creature that we had to come up with. I'm pretty sure Jerry might have posted it on there too.
I think maybe I did, yeah.
Did
But,
We're
did
gonna have
the-
to pull it. We're gonna have to bump the thread too.
But
Let me see if I can go find that and bump it right now for anyone that wants to see some of your stuff.
What was the
so-
creature?
So my creature was supposed to be like a ocelot body,
Awesome.
and with the horns and the squirrel tail.
Oh, so like a chupacabra?
Not quite, but pretty close, I would say. But yeah,
Works for me, John.
If it works for you, it works for me.
yeah, and another, I guess you can consider it ceramics, like it's pottery. So like working on a wheel. So we were making vases, jars, bowls, so stuff like that.
So could we commission a piece?
For sure.
So I would like to see Jerry done in the style of the Statue of David.
Is that something
And
that
we'll
the Free
keep-
Speech Forum wants to
We'll
purchase?
keep it. We'll keep it
Okay.
outside.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up, like while talking about my style of art, like how I do my art, is I have to have reference pictures. So like I cannot, like, it's really hard for me to come up with my own ideas.
So you're saying you need him to strip down for you and hold that pose for a while.
I mean, if that
I mean-
since there is going to be a reference.
Are
Yeah,
you, are
there's
you,
gotta
are
be-
you asking for
there's-
something right
there's
now?
got-
Is that what you're asking
There's
for?
got to be a
So-
reference, Jerry. There's got to be a reference.
If you're asking, just ask. I'm just
So what you're saying is you would not do abstract impressionism.
Oh no,
okay.
I can do abstract, but coming up with ideas, like for example that butterfly ship, that was like pretty much made up out of Dolly's head, right?
Well, yeah.
So I cannot do stuff like that. I have to have reference because like I mostly work realistic. So I actually have a really good example of that. If-
Let's
You
see
wanna
it.
show
Let's
us
see it,
something?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm pretty sure. So how do I show it?
Stretch it over here.
Oh, wow.
So this one was
That's
from the
cool.
photo reference, and I'm really meticulous with the detail. So stuff
can
like that I can totally do.
I think Brooklyn likes it a lot.
That's beautiful. So you work from a photograph of that winter
Yes.
scene?
Yes.
Was it one you took or one you found?
No, someone who I know from back in Ukraine took the photograph, and I really liked it. I saved it
Well,
for the
from,
better times.
From here, it looks like a black and white print. That's
No,
excellent.
It is not. It's watercolor.
Extremely realistic.
Oh, that
Wow,
is-
I
that is
love
very
what you
good,
did with the
though.
water, the shading there.
Thank
That's
you.
excellent.
Yeah,
You're-
this
you're
is
very
watercolor.
good.
So can we get it up close to the camera so everyone else can see a little bit better?
Do-
Is that something?
Do not.
Do you sell? Are you currently
All right.
That. Yep.
are you currently marketing any of your work?
Not yet.
Building.
Not
Do you-
there yet.
Do you want to? If
I would
someone
like
if someone
to.
wanted something,
I take see. As long as somebody like I can totally draw pets or portraits or like if somebody been somewhere like and have a nice scenery, like if I have the picture I can pretty much like copy it
Cool.
or,
Cool,
for the
cool.
most part.
So you like photorealism.
Yes,
Excellent.
for sure.
so I guess I'm sure a bunch of other people are interested. What other styles of art do you like? What do you prefer? Like your go-to?
Well, currently I'm working a lot in oil paint. And yeah, again, last semester I took the watercolor class. So in oil painting, it's just like I don't even know where to start. But currently I'm in a portrait painting and drawing class. So we're working currently on 4 portraits at the same time.
Wow.
At the same
Technically 6, 4 paintings and 2 drawings throughout the whole summer semester.
All at once.
Yes.
No rest for you.
No, not at all. But we're working in 4 different techniques. So like the first painting is the introductory painting. So pretty much just to get used to paint, which some of the people in my class, they've never done oil painting, so that's more for them. I can totally do it because I already worked with it. Another one is limited palette.
May I ask, are you drawing the same subject matter with different medium? Or is it 4 completely different?
4 completely different people with the
Okay.
painting.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we could take the same reference for the
Right.
Painting and the drawing, but not for 2 paintings.
Got it.
But the introduction painting, then limited palette is we're using only 4 colors to create the whole painting. So we're
Got it.
mixing
That's impressive.
we're mixing only 4 colors like that we have in our possession to get all the other colors and values.
It makes me think about that guy Bob Ross or something.
Oh,
He just
Oh
had,
no
like,
no
he
no
is
no
so
no.
totally cool.
a
Though.
happy little
It's
accident.
completely different though.
I love
It's a
Bob
happy
Ross.
little 4 colors, right?
Yeah, no.
No.
It's actually really tough. Like you would be surprised.
So I learned in starting to do websites, and like how I met Bob was doing websites for some businesses, but color theory is a super incredibly interesting thing. And like I'd never heard of it, and so like whenever I would like pick colors, they would just clash, and I like never understood like I don't know how to fix it, but I know these colors don't match together. And then I saw there's like sites where you can, put a color and it gives you all the options based on color theory, which is based on kind of math in a way. And
Yeah.
it was eye opening to me that color theory exists.
Interesting.
They make wheels with different levels
Yeah.
that you can turn to get help me
Yep.
here with complementary colors. And there's really a one good book I read. It says Why the Hulk Wears Purple Pants. And that was the lead-in for the whole
freaking
study
Hulk.
of.
The whole-
Yeah, I mean he's green. What's he doing with purple pants?
Yeah.
So they explain that, and so yeah, you're right. You can. Did you know you can take a full semester at major universities on one color?
One color.
One
well,
color.
I haven't heard of that.
Interesting.
One color.
But yeah, definitely
Wow.
color theory.
Because
is
as
big
you
thing.
know, red, blues, real popular, black.
Well,
shades. It's incredible.
I want to go into like,
Well-
what is a color? It's only a reflection of light at a certain
Yeah.
wavelength.
Speaking kind of about, I guess, color theory and like the schooling, someone in the chat is asking if you have any formal training or education, and we can.
She's in school.
So we can.
I'm in process.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say is we can go take a step back to some of the things you like doing, but would you maybe want to elaborate a little bit on any of your schooling or previous classes before schooling, and just kind of how where you started?
As long as I remember myself, I've been drawing all my life, like back in elementary, middle school. I was mostly self-taught. There was 2 times that I tried going to an art school back in Ukraine. So the first time I went for 2 classes. On the second class, the teacher, we were drawing a Christmas tree. And I drew it how I knew how to draw it. But apparently, the teacher thought it was a wrong way to draw the Christmas tree.
That's not right. You can't do it like that, I guess.
So she erased it and drew it her way.
Oh, wow.
That is.
I was leaving that class crying
That would make me
and never
furious.
came back. And
That would-
since then, I said, nope,
You
no
know-
more art schools for me.
Your opinion of art must be my opinion.
I've
of
got
art. Yeah.
a true story, short joke. Second graders, the teacher asked the kids to draw a picture of God, right? And she came by this one little boy's desk and looked. She said, God doesn't look like that. And he says, how do you know? Have you seen him?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
There you
keep
go.
that in your hip pocket
Yeah.
for the next time she comes around.
There you go. You should go back to her now and say, "Hey, you see this? Does this look right?" Yeah, I did better than you could. So
but there was another time when I think I was in the 7th grade, and I went for those classes for a couple months, I think, and I just didn't like it. I wasn't learning anything, and they wouldn't let me do stuff that already more advanced kids did, and so I was pretty bored in there. But really, when I started getting into, I guess, more professional art is when I moved to the States. That was 6 years ago. And since I barely knew English, my counselor actually introduced me to a school art teacher. And I would just hang out at her room trying to practice my English, telling her whatever I could and however I could, just show with the gestures. But and she would show me some tricks and just kind of extracurricular, just after school. Not necessarily, but it really helped me to start getting into art more professionally. And then I eventually took 2 art classes from her. And then, so that's pretty much my high school. And I took a couple other classes, art classes with the other teacher. It was all right.
When are you supposed to graduate?
Actually, next spring, hopefully, if I'm not going to go for master's.
Can I ask, when it's your education formally is over, what's your dream position, your dream job? What do you want to do?
Well, tough question because I don't have an answer for it.
She wants to work at Popeyes.
No.
I want to make beautiful
Taco Bell.
little chicken,
Yeah.
little
You know
chicken,
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Draw on the bag, sign them.
there we go.
But so that's how I got into art. And obviously, when I went to college, I went to a community college. I took a few classes in there too. And right now, I'm getting my bachelor's of fine arts, and that's with Athens State.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now I'm taking more of the actual art classes because before that I had to take all the sciences and maths and
Right.
all that good stuff.
The boring stuff that you don't even you just want to pass it and move
Yeah,
on.
but now I'm definitely working towards I'm getting the BFA with the concentration in painting and drawing. So but
Perfect.
So there's one person in the chat also, Jacqueline asked if I'm getting into art more because of you. So I guess before I give my answer, do you think I'm getting into art more because of you, or do you think I was already into it, or my own flavor of art?
Well, we went to a gallery once, and you didn't know a thing.
Jerry, watching pornography is not art, Jerry.
What do you mean? I just know where to skip to. Like I know all the good parts of it.
We just left the track.
I will stick
Get
up
back on the track.
I will stick up for Jerry in the same way that kind of I said I do art. I feel like Jerry does art through all his 3D printing stuff.
So-
Like that's
True.
incredibly cool.
So yeah, so what
I
I was gonna
agree.
say was, I have never been into art like you're into art. I don't paint or draw, and in fact, if you ask me to, you probably wouldn't even recognize a stick figure. It probably would be that bad. But I am a lot more into like the tech kind of side of things. So digital art is something I did when I was in high school. It wasn't, I'm not gonna say it was great, but it was something I was interested in, and I did some of it on the side. And I do a bunch of 3D design and modeling now, and I can bring those things to life with my 3D printers.
Cool.
And as a matter of fact, I've actually seen other pieces of art people have created with, with other mediums, I guess. And I want to reproduce it with the 3D
That's
printer.
neat. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always been into like the kind of arty, styly stuff, but maybe not traditionally.
Right.
So,
One thing this reminds me of, I've read one time, very few artists truly become titans in the art world while they're alive. I told my father I wanted to be an artist. He said, well, you're only going to make money after you're dead.
Yeah.
But
What's the point then?
But this story, Pablo Picasso carried around a small sketchbook, and he would go into a restaurant and eat, and he would do a little drawing and sign it, worth $10,000, but he'd pull it out and he'd hand it to the maitre d'.
Wow.
Clothing. And is that not cool?
yeah,
That's what I do.
that's fantastic.
But I just thought, how cool to be able to, that popular, and do some abstract thing in maybe a minute and a half.
You can scratch down $10,000 right there.
You paid for your custom suit
Yeah.
or whatever,
Or
But anyhow,
you put it, you paid for your down payment on a house
Oh,
just by
God.
scratching down on your napkin.
yeah.
What is that, a nose? I don't know.
But
Thanks.
now, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Now.
So you've got a bunch of other paintings, or a bunch of other art and other things. So I guess I
Yeah.
mean you've still got a whole bunch. You've got a whole bunch of stuff listed.
I
down.
do.
So tell us, is there anything there that you had to do but you aren't super fond of it or
Yes.
interesting? So what are some of your dislikes?
So, I usually don't. I can work in the in abstract, but definitely not my preferred way. But in college, I had to take this one class that actually explained better what the abstract is and how to actually understand it. And we had to make a work of art that would be considered abstract or like non-subjective, I guess. So I made this. I unfortunately don't have a black light with me, but this actually is a fabric ink or fabric paint that glows under the black light. So, and from what you can see here, it doesn't represent anything.
I thought it was like blood cells or something, like
No.
blood platelets.
Hey,
And then you got the,
It's a close-up shot of your tongue.
that's what it is.
oh my,
But
that
yeah,
looks like that.
So when you put a black light on it, a completely different picture emerges?
no, it doesn't. But like the darker dots, they are not lit, so they're gonna be seen better on the bright pink
Okay.
background. But the way to view this this artwork or abstract in general, you would look at the application of paint, the composition, so how the colors interact with each other. That's called a formalism approach to art. So you're not looking at the subject matter like in my previous painting that I showed.
Right.
But you're looking at all those details that make up that work of art.
And you said black lights matter. For
Black
that
lives
picture,
matter, but we
For
don't
that
have
picture.
it,
for
but
that
we don't
picture, the
have
black
that.
light would matter if
So,
how you see it.
I mean, I understand
Okay.
where you're going with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
So yeah.
on it like it is. Well,
What else
Nastia,
would you like to show us over there? I see you've got a few things. Is there something you're particularly?
Yes.
Particularly fond
This
of.
one is
Wow.
one of my
That's
favorites.
fantastic.
That's acrylic paint. And
That's cool.
Yeah.
You knocked that one out of the park. I
did
love
you like?
that.
Did you like
Can we
put all this stuff together? Did you have?
no,
this?
that was a
Can we-
picture from the
Oh,
internet.
picture, okay,
Technically, we shouldn't do that, but
Yeah, we
So
won't tell
is this
anybody.
something we should get a close up of as well? Because I
That's
feel like
yeah,
really
it has
good.
a lot of
you,
detail.
you can't get the detail in that from this distance. Yeah, that's incredible.
Whoa.
I mean,
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how
Beautiful.
long would a piece like this take you to create?
Well, actually, this one I know exact time. I mean, somewhat exact time. How long it took me because I actually filmed myself painting it.
Wow.
Though they're still in like 2-hour chunks. They're not edited
Not
or
fast-forwarded.
anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish I could do speed art or something like that to actually put it all together, but I don't know how.
So
to
how
do
long?
that.
How long did it take?
So I have 12 videos. They're hour and a half approximately in average each.
So about 18
So
hours.
yeah,
18 hours. That's
if you got some
That's
time to
insane.
kill, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really impressed with that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
yeah, that's
Well,
Great
not-
composition.
Nastia, yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight. And I mean, I think we still got more we can talk about. So maybe you can come on again in the future.
Sure.
And
we,
yeah, it
we
was-
can do a
If you
we can do an
invite-
art
invite
part
me.
2.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
can do an art part 2.
Awesome.
art part 2. So thank you, Nastia. And
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And great art. I mean, it's. I hope. I mean, this
he's
is.
sucking
This is
up.
look.
It's getting there. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I
don't have a t-
I,
you know,
I
I'm not a
obviously
real
am
critic.
biased, but I think these guys as well are probably pretty impressed as well. So.
Well, I like John's idea about you being the classic Adam figure.
Yeah.
She could do a portrait of you and do something really distorted and abstract.
Yeah.
Put a dolly number on Jerry. Would you do that?
I'll think about it.
Eating a distorted 3-dimensional taco.
I mean, yeah, that's
That
yeah.
actually would be interesting.
And then
We'll
and then
see.
we could
Oh,
sell it to
man.
Taco Bell. There
Yeah.
we go.
Could
That's
you
a,
paint a taco for us one time?
I probably could. And it would be a really detailed taco.
Yeah,
There we go.
The most detailed you've ever seen.
Cool.
It's
So.
yeah. We're gonna have that done.
And then
is
Jerry
fantastic.
could eat the painting on the podcast.
Yeah. We'll take a
with a little
Definitely,
hot sauce
We'll take a
on
I'm
it.
not
picture
sure
of
about
it
that
and
one.
then print out the
Little
picture
hot
and then make
sauce.
them eat that shit
Yeah.
in paper.
I am
Eat that
not
thing.
sure about that one.
Eat it.
So you've clicked
Eat
something.
it.
So this
Someone's
is
clicked
our,
something.
This is our transition. So
I believe
let me
this
find
is
some.
this is where I come in.
This is where you come in.
This is kind of like our awkward transition time. This is
If-
awkward transition music.
If you don't know who Henry David Thoreau is, you might want to watch something else. But this quote is quite famous. I love it. And go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. And for me, I love quotes. I collect them. And when you see a quote that lasts a couple of hundred of years, you know that you've got something concrete there. And so I collect and keep in mind as many as I can with Thoreau. And oddly enough, Albert Einstein was a very funny guy, had lots of great quotes. So for me, they're kind of like, I know a lot of people, I used to relate to the Bible a lot. Of course, you'd remember passages and give you strength and times things. But now it's more like these quotes for me. I just love them because they're so applicable. And when they get it as abstract as that, to follow your dreams,
yeah.
it's beautiful. You know
He
what
said,
you know
if you
what I'm
see
talking.
your dreams, go confidently in the direction. So if like your dreams are on the left, just confidently head straight to the left.
Absolutely.
Don't let
like-
your dreams be memes.
Yeah, and it makes me think about
There we go.
but on a serious note,
Jot that one down for later.
it makes me think about Nastia talking to her teacher about the tree. You know, who gives a shit what your teacher thinks? You know, like that tree is your direction. You know, be confident in your tree.
Even if that tree was unrecognizable as a tree, if you thought that was a tree, that was a tree.
Whoa! Who are you? Where'd you come
Whoa.
Hey,
I
good to
mean-
be with you guys.
Where'd
Oh,
you come
so hold
from?
on. We need to start all over, and I'm gonna welcome Brooks to the podcast.
Hey,
How are
great
you
to be
doing,
here
Brooks?
tonight.
That's a good
It's
looking hat.
tough to follow up Nastia here. She did great talking
Yeah,
about
you're
art.
probably
so,
not gonna top her. So just,
no.
I'm sorry.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah,
well, I
for
mean,
sure.
Jerry can't wait to talk politics.
Oh gosh. Well, let's see. So what is topic 2? Who's gonna?
Yeah,
Is this?
I wanted to really talk about the American flag
Okay.
and patriotism. You know, being that we just had our nation's birthday,
Yeah.
and so
Happy birthday, nation.
yeah, we had an awesome
Yeah,
July 4th.
We're coming close to like 250, but we're not there yet.
Not quite.
250 years old.
Well, I'm not
Yeah.
that old, so I'm getting there.
Getting there.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
day at a time.
So I wanted to ask, you know, what does the American flag mean to each of you guys?
Bob.
I bet Bob's pretty opinionated
deep.
on this. So
Well, you know, in branding, you could say, well, it's the American logo in a way, but it's so much more than that to me. It's really hard to describe. I mean, because knowing what was coming up on the podcast this week, I did a lot of thinking. Well, what does the flag mean to me? And it goes beyond a logo or a symbol, because my older brother, he went to war in Vietnam. He did the high altitude bombing. That really messed him up. He was the bombardier. He knew that he was killing women, children, and so for him, the flag, and I think about that and the colors in it and the blood, and I did just a little research, but since the Civil War and the Revolutionary War, World War II, over 1,500,000 Americans gave their life. And now that was on the battlefield.
And that's for their country.
Yes, that was for that flag.
For nothing other than.
And it
their
doesn't
country.
include the guys that got wounded and maimed for life. And I'll tell you one other quick thing here. Foreigners. My wife is English, born and raised in London, and she has a niece who lives in Spain, and she's married to a German fellow, and his name is Andreas. And we were talking about just international politics, and he was talking about the mess that Europe is in with trying to get, Romania and Italy and all these countries together. And he looked at me and he said, "You're lucky." He said, "You have something we don't have." I said, "Well, what is that?" He said, "A flag." And I mean, I just went, whoa. I didn't know what to say. I'd never looked at it that way. He said, that you guys rally around that. And then my brother-in-law, Finn, my wife's brother, who's been here for 17 years and is having to leave the country for 1 year because he hasn't gotten his green card renewed. But he told me something the other day. He said, I travel all over Europe growing up. He said, you don't see Polish flags out. You don't see the Italian flag out. You don't see these flags sitting out. But he said, here, he said, driving down the street, almost every house had a flag. Cars with flags on it, shirts with flags on it. So the flag transcends something. I just can't even adequately describe it. But it's in here. That red is blood, and the blue is the skies, and the white is, to me, like eternal. I don't know, but it's just that's what it means to me in a way. It's bigger than I don't have the vocabulary to adequately describe it because it's much larger than any description I could get.
I don't think I can top that.
Yeah, that's a powerful message.
I mean, absolutely everything you said is 100% true.
So that's really deep, and I mean, I'm not going to take an opposite stance, but I'm going to take a different stance on my perspective because I'll be honest with you, like lately, my perspective of seeing the flag has changed. Like, it really has.
I can get that.
Because to me, what the flag is supposed to represent is freedom, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and I feel that those things are being pressured, and it almost kind of, annoys me or bothers me, when I see the flag. I'm like, you're lying, flag. And that's really, and I've never felt that way when I've seen the American flag in my life, and I tell you guys, like, I am not left or right, when it comes to politics, if anything, I'm anti-authoritarian, I don't like,
You don't like Big Brother watching over
exactly,
you and preventing you from.
And we know we're being watched over, and maybe there's good reasons, and that's not even. But it's obvious that, like, free speech is getting encroached on. The Free Speech Forum. You say free speech, and you say it to people, and they think it's so inflammatory. It's like It's the First Amendment, and you say free speech, and like. It offends people, and whatever. That's their right to be offended,
They think it's a right-wing Republican.
But I just want to say that, I mean, my perspective has changed. However, today there's what Bob said. You think about the soldiers who go out there and have died for us, and we really do. Even amidst all this, yes, I feel like there's things happening. I know, yes, I do know corporations are taking away, like pressing on our liberty, pressing on our freedom. But my life in general, I still have my freedom, But I'm just going to make sure that I'm doing things right now to make sure I will have those freedoms going forward,
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when you get the perspective right, looking at the Constitution, we still have the Constitution to back our country. I love people. I love everybody, all the people born in this country, that's my people. We're Americans, The government is not America. The people, we are America, and so...
we the people.
We the people, and
Yeah,
so I'm willing to, I let my opinions on things float around and change, I'm kind of different than a lot of people, but... yeah, so that's just been kind of how I'm feeling, and it kind of just boggled my mind lately, just kind of being annoyed by the flag.
Yeah. Well, one thing about that, I've thought about that too, but look at it this way. The flag cannot be tarnished. It's beyond words in a way. Mm-hmm. I don't care how many liberal people are trying to start with the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa, and some woman the other day had her platform. She's talking about, let's have a new national anthem. And I'm thinking, no, there's one flag, and you can't tarnish it. It's been here for over 100 years. Of course, in the beginning, we had 13 stars and a little blue thing for the colonies.
Right.
So
Only
I totally get
expanded.
what you're saying, but to me, the flag is invincible because it's a concept within our hearts. It represents America.
I think some people are not taking it that way and are taking it to
no
mean
doubt.
that the flag is just the rules of the United States of America, and people think the rules of the United States of America need to be different, and whether they're right or wrong or what it doesn't, people are not seeing the flag as something as soldiers have gone out on the battlefield to protect what was at one point what should be right. And,
Exactly.
and people are dying and losing family.
You're right.
And,
I agree.
And people are not seeing that. They're just seeing what we are, and they think it needs to be different.
It's their perspective of the flag is their perception of the flag is based on their current perspective.
Correct.
Yeah, versus what the perspective was at the time of what whenever people
And so,
gave their lives
and the
or whatever.
flag really can mean all these different things to different people. It really can.
Well, it does.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally.
One of the most beautiful things to me is when they bring deceased soldiers home. They take them off the plane, and there's an American flag. God,
Right.
man, that just, bam.
It hits you hard, and it's one of the few times you might have a tear come down.
Yeah, and then that flag at the burial site is folded in a very specific way. I mean, to the quarter of an inch, and that is given to the widow or the closest surviving family member. boy,
Yeah.
that, that gets you.
Yeah.
That gets me
Yeah,
deep.
my late stepdad died flying Apache helicopters, flying for our country, and so that really hits home what you're saying, because when we had the memorial service and he was covering that flag, I can't express to you the gratitude of what it felt to be an American and have that flag wrapped over him, because you knew that him passing away was bigger than just our family. It represented this nation and his service to it.
Yeah. Like
So-
the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Mm-hmm.
What a beautiful ceremony that is when they have the changing of the guard. It's so, I don't know. It gets into that transcendental surrealism.
It's like we can all have our opinions about how things are going and how things, how the government's doing, but like in the end, we cannot change where we were born or where we came to be. We chose to come to be a part of this.
Amen.
And so this is where God wants us to be.
Amen.
I believe in God. That's what I do. I don't care if you don't. Whatever. Do what you ever want to do. But so in the end, we're Americans, and so.
So if you come to America and you decide to take that flag to yourself, it
Come
can
on,
mean, it can,
glad to have you.
Yeah, it can mean the same to people that even weren't born here, or it could, it's.
Yeah. Well, I've got a basement, and I have a workout room, and I have a workbench, and a lot of stuff in there, and I have 3 large American flags on 3 different walls, and I'm talking flags this long. So no matter where I look, it's hanging there.
Yeah.
And I hung those things. I didn't drive nails through them.
Good.
I put tape behind there to hold them up. And when I go in there, I look at them, and it means something to me, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what you say. I've traveled a lot internationally, and I believe with every ounce of my being that this is the greatest country that has ever been. And in less than 250 years, we have created more wealth, more technology, more opportunities to lift everybody up. We take people coming in left and right. But Europe is, England is, 2,500 years old. It'll fit in the state of Alabama. And look at that over there, and they've got their traditions. But for some reason, everybody said, let's get the hell out. And we came here, and we have knocked it out of the park. And
Maybe America came from nothing.
The greatest country in the world.
Yeah, and then, I read a great book on George Washington. I can't remember the name of the author. He won the Pulitzer Prize. But the way that we won this war, we never should have won the Revolutionary War. We had a ragtag bunch of guys that really were walking around with rags on their feet, and we ended up defeating the largest military force on the face of the planet. And so there were just so many God things that I kept seeing going on in there that really made me feel like, yes, God has blessed America, and we're here because we overcome insurmountable odds and won the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
So I think we got some media to play. I'll let Brooks do the honors.
Yeah.
'Cause,
So we've got some pretty polarizing video, coming around our nation's birthday that we wanted to play.
Cool.
And so just want to play it
Oh,
in
Joe.
regards to flags. So.
I think we're taken care of from the back. Oh, we just got
All this 4th of July decorations doesn't sit well with me. The American flag on any piece of anything, hanging from your house, on your shirt, hanging from your car, on a sticker on your car, whatever, it looks racist.
Noticed yesterday a lot of people didn't say happy in the
Yeah, so that was the first video, but I was just kind of up in arms at her calling the flag racist.
Where
Yes.
does
So-
that come from? How can you conceive of that in your mind?
Even if
Ignorance.
Right.
Even if you have differing opinions about the flag, you can believe whatever you want, but it definitely doesn't mean if you display it, it definitely doesn't mean that you're an automatic racist. That's for sure. I think we can all agree on that.
But just to take the other side, there is perspective that this country was created, slavery was still happening, And so there's this perspective that some people have, and it seemed to be pushed or influenced on some other people. But again, that's just a small perspective. And I honestly, like, I'm glad that she can have that opinion.
Oh, me too, totally.
And
So right.
I want anyone to be able to believe
I don't think,
and say
I
whatever they
mean,
want.
yeah, I don't have to agree with her, but, that's her right.
Yeah. So we got one more video to play.
The play button's hidden.
Yeah. See if you can just
Click the screen. Click space bar.
Getting a really dear friend, and I was really disturbed. I saw, dozens and dozens of pickup trucks with, explicatives against Joe Biden on the back of them, Trump flags, and some cases just dozens of American flags, which is also just disturbing because essentially the message was clear. It was, this is my country. This is not your country.
Wow.
I own this.
Okay.
And so until we're ready to have that conversation, this is going to continue.
Yeah, I think
Well, so about the explicitives towards Joe Biden, I mean, that's
unacceptable.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's a little bit childish, and everyone can have their own opinion. If that's your opinion, so be it, have it. But the fact that seeing 12 American flags is uncomfortable or disturbing.
Well,
I think she used the word disturbing.
Keep in mind that CNN often had guests that said that Trump was Hitler.
Well,
Yeah, so an expletive in front of the name Biden or behind it, I could give a rat's patootie.
That's
I
true.
mean, they excoriated Trump on every one of the networks.
On
Speaking
every
of
network.
artists, Hitler painted landscapes.
He was an artist.
So we tied the
But you know what?
segments together.
That didn't quite work out for him, so he decided to get into politics.
Maybe they got mad at him. Maybe they told him he drew his tree wrong, and he's like, "Screw this."
So
That's a whole nother podcast.
All right, sorry. So we got.
I do
we got
think-
one more video.
Yeah, we got one final video, and I think this, is right up Bob's alley, and it's Vanessa Williams. So she came on the July 4th Independence Day special on PBS, and she sang the Black national anthem.
Oh my God!
Lift every voice and sing. So let's see that. But this was done in honor of the new Juneteenth federal holiday. But I think that's good. But
It's nice music.
it's a nice song. But I just wanted to get your opinion on, what do you think of two national anthems playing on our nation's birthday?
So is she
Is
playing
it
this?
okay to use the word bullshit on the podcast?
There's a lot of people up in arms about
I think
this.
it's bullshit. We have a national anthem. This is the United States of America. There's only one of them. We have one Constitution. We have one Declaration of Independence. And we have one flag, damn it. So, no, we don't need another national anthem. There's no such thing as that. We've got one.
Right.
Yeah, so the original national anthem wasn't intended to be racist. I mean, if
Yeah,
someone,
I love America the Beautiful.
if someone takes
That's-
it to be racist, then I mean, maybe they're a little sensitive, or maybe we should help them to understand what it really means. But but it wasn't intended to be anything racist or offensive. So
There's not.
So
And if you read the Constitution, if you read the Declaration of Independence, it's some of the most beautiful prose ever written by a man who was a genius inspired by God, in my opinion, Thomas Jefferson. And it was we the people, and it was for everybody, for the freedom of pursuit of happiness, right, and prosperity. So if we start to slice up the country, man, that's the road to perdition, dude, and we can't have that.
But on that point, how I feel about it as far as pursuit of happiness, if it makes her happy and it makes a group of people happy, whatever, do it. As long as it doesn't infringe on me. However, I do understand the importance of, symbolism, sticking to, what was created. But it just, me personally, it doesn't, I don't care. I understand why people are upset. I really do understand why people are upset. But
yeah, I mean, I'll say I don't care, but what I guess maybe what bothers me a little bit about that is I think people need to realize the original one wasn't. That is what it is. It's not intended. It was not written to exclude anyone. It was not written for any negative reason other than to say, this is our country. We love it.
Right.
We're all one.
How about this? Should we get rid of the Pledge of Allegiance?
It's happening.
You know?
Better get
I'm
ready.
sure they're all for that.
It's gone in school.
Should
we have another national anthem sung at a beginning of a big sporting event? Hell no.
And so it's like give them an inch and they take a mile.
Exactly.
But I say I don't care. Like, I don't participate in popular culture. But, like, what I mean, I don't care. It doesn't mean I'm just going to, like, sit on the bench and let this country go to whatever it goes to. Because obviously, like, I'm taking a stand, like a principled stand, what we're doing at the Free Speech Forum based on, what does bother me.
Yes, right.
Stopping people on what they can say, how they express themselves. I am pro people being able to express themselves.
Me too.
I don't care. And I love that you can do it in this country under no threat of arrest. Like, I just want to make sure that stays,
Yes. Hey, you know what? The Free Speech Forum, that is exactly the foundation of this country. And censorship is like a dagger in the heart of free speech. The fragmentation of our brand, it's real. And if they keep driving this, so what, are we going to start
the American brand.
Are we going to fly two flags over the White House now? Give me a break.
To take the opposite stand, though, everything will evolve over time. But there is, I think, there are some, some points that have to be stuck by. And when the country was founded originally, there were things that were said that this is what America is, and things that, like, those things are things that shouldn't change. Things will evolve over time, and with that, people will have to adapt and stuff. But it's just it's like. John said, give someone and she'll take a mile. I mean, that's both sides,
Well, it's almost strategy for me. It's like, in a way, it's like, go ahead and start retreating from the grounds that it's not worth wasting your energy on fighting for.
Right.
Go ahead, let people bicker over this, let them fight, let them argue. Let's make a stand. Let's pull back a little, fortify ourselves, get as strong as we can, and make a stand on something that really matters. Because once they do cross the line on censorship, then everything that we know is over.
Yes.
And so
let
them sing their national anthems. And I'm not saying them. I'm not trying to say anybody specifically. Do whatever you want. But we're putting a line in the sand.
Right.
Yeah. And so for me, and I'm not saying me personally, I'm withdrawing from that conversation. I'm not wasting energy on it. I'm not going to get upset about it,
So, yeah, I'm pretty much with you there. I mean, I have my opinions about things, but I try to stay as far removed from things like that as possible because it's some people might say you don't fight for it, then you're part of the problem. Some say, but some things I just, for my own sanity's sake, need to just stay as far away from it as possible. Keep my opinions, but
certain cornerstones must endure. And taking an appeasing tone to people that are working directly out in the open to take this country apart, chunk by chunk. We're going to sit back. Well, why don't we just rewrite the damn Constitution? Why don't we set that on fire? Why don't we tear that up? Why don't we just get rid of every American flag so everybody, let's all vote and have a big design competition and have a new effing flag.
Right.
Give me a break. It just can't be that way. If you don't like it, leave.
Well, to me, it would become a serious problem, and the point at which I would step in is whenever you try and remove, like in this case, you try to remove the national anthem and replace it with something else.
Right. Thank you.
If you try to remove the American
Yeah.
flag and replace it with something else, that's when I'll start to have issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I could get behind that.
Until a point where that is, like I said, or like John said, there's a line in the sand. I'll walk up to that line and I will stay there. I'll shake my fist, but whenever it's not even whenever you cross the line, whenever that line is burned and just completely erased, That's probably the point in which I would.
Well,
they're going to have to go through me.
You can all right. You can
I'm making
bet
that stand.
You can bet your bottom dollar that there are hundreds, thousands of people working on a design for the flag of the United States, and you give it enough time, and we're going to have an African-American war hero or a Chinese war hero that's an American citizen or somebody get taken off a plane, and the family's going to say, you get that racist symbol off that coffin right now and put this flag on there. That's my father. Wow. That's my right. I don't want that on there. You get that piece of shit off there and put that flag on there. What are we going to do? We're going to stand there and let that happen? So like, hell no.
Hell no, we're not.
Well, no, we're going to get that to the grave, and we're going to fold that damn flag up, and somebody's going to keep it, and you can put another flag on it, and then take that home. But that's coming, guys. Yeah. It's inch by inch, man.
Yeah. It's like you said, give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
I had one friend, I love what he said, give somebody some rope and they'll want to be a cowboy.
So what are you thinking, Brooks?
Oh, I was just going to say that my problem with it is by having a black national anthem, that it implies that there's something wrong with the normal national anthem.
Right. Which there's not.
Right. So, because black people, you have to feel that way if you have your own national anthem playing for you. Why do you need that if the regular national anthem doesn't represent who you are, as an American? So that's my trouble.
And it's sad that people feel that way. It would be sad to be in a country where you feel like you don't belong. But these people, a lot of people right now really feel that way, and maybe they were influenced by the media or something to push them to feel even more and more that way.
They're being indoctrinated.
But every single thing you guys talked about, though, it's like whatever, pulling the flag off people, pitching a fit. I understand how awful it is, how much a transgression people would feel it is, but to me, that's not my fight. I understand why people need to make it their fight. Good. Some people do. But for me personally, it's not my fight. I'm back at the basic,
Sure.
Back at the base principles.
I'm the first one to say, if somebody wants to stand out in the middle of Washington and burn an American flag, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if you come onto my yard and try to take the flag off of my house, you're going to be looking down the barrel of a 9mm. You're not going to get very far. Yikes. That's just the bottom line.
Yikes.
Yeah. And that ain't all.
I'm not going to be doing that.
You better cancel your weekend plans, Jerry.
We're not going out to eat tonight. I'm going to be looking down the barrel of a 9mm, I guess.
Well, I think we all realize what's going on. This country's being sliced up piece by piece, and we're just going to have to see what the consequences are because they're coming.
Yeah. So I feel like the Billy's bait and tackle is doing something for us.
It's rocking and rolling. I'm
not really sure.
I heard that their sales went through the roof. I heard that bait and tackle was flying. You wouldn't believe it. Like
and those jars of
just because Bob announced Billy's Bait and Tackle as our sponsor last week, and they sold more bait and tackle last week than they had the rest of the year combined.
I believe it.
Wow. Best week of the year just by sponsoring the Free Speech Forum podcast.
Billy creates bespoke flies for fishing.
Like fly fishing flies.
Yes. Oh, works of art.
Wow.
Beautiful works of art. And there's something to see. And people will order, I need a fly for this, or I need a fly for that, or could you give me this kind of a lure? And he's a big celebrity.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna go fly fishing down under in Australia, and I need
I'll put it this way, Jerry.
Alabama, that's your place.
If you're not throwing a Billy's bait and tackle fly out into that water,
I'm gonna be pulling back air.
You are behind the game, buddy. You're not up with it.
Well, see, that's the thing. So Billy's Bait and Tackle, they'll hand make all the flies, right?
Oh God, yes, he's a superstar.
So what's the turnaround time for Billy's Bait and Tackle?
It typically there's a 3 to 4 month waiting list.
Okay, that's really not that bad.
A little backed up.
Well, back when I used to fly fish, I would get some flies off of.
Did you tie flies?
Well, no, I never tied any.
Okay.
But I would get some flies from the guy down the street, and he had about an 8-month wait time.
Oh, yeah.
He was selling them to the whole neighborhood. He was selling them to the neighborhoods around. It was a fly fishing city. Everyone went to him.
Most of the professional fly fishermen and fishermen that tour the country have their guy. Yeah. And he makes their lures for them, and they can't be sold to anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is pretty cool.
I would always just take the fly off my pants, but I never caught any fish, so.
Well, gee, John, maybe you were around a bad lake, dude. I know. You got to go where the fish are, brother.
I know. I guess that was my problem.
Well, that's fantastic that Billy did so well.
Yeah.
I think we're getting pushed for time, so were you going to close us out, Jerry?
What?
No,
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm just.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Oh my gosh.
I think this was a fantastic episode. We got to see all about Nastia's art here, about how she.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, Nastia.
Grew up and all of the stuff with the flag. I mean, everyone's gonna have their own opinions.
I love that. We had different opinions here. I didn't agree with a couple of things you said, but I defend your right to say them. By God.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't agree with me?
Well, okay.
Hey, we had great dialogue.
We'll do this after the fact. I don't want to see bloodshed on live. But yeah, I mean, I think it was fantastic, and I mean, this is what we're trying to go for every week. So we're gonna have this next week as well.
Yeah, and thank everybody that's out there watching.
Yeah, for
really.
sure.
Yeah, thank you for viewing.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to
and go to the forum, the freespeechforum.com. Please
Right.
join the discussion.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are watching this and you haven't yet liked and subscribed, and I know we should probably say this in the beginning, but for each program. But if you guys haven't liked or subscribed yet, definitely go ahead and do that because
do us a favor.
Help us out. The more people that can come to this podcast and have a great time, the better the discussions will be. It just grow us as a whole. So if you guys can make sure to hit that like button, that would be fantastic. So, do you guys have anything else or
play us out? Oh, this used to be the intro.
See you guys next time.
Thank you guys. See ya.
When the eagle calls,
Come back next week.
I'm gonna hit the finish button. Just wait for it.
Nice flag you got there.
The eagle of freedom.
Long may it wave.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next
ya.
week.
Until next time.